Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Shams, lecturer at Salam University, Faculty of Economics, Department of Business Administrations. Dear students, let me first congratulate you on promoting to 5th semester. Hope everyone is fine and doing well. So, as you know, in 5th semester, we are going to start a new subject by the name of psychology. So, let me talk about the subject of psychology. So this is our first lecture in the course Introduction to Psychology. As you know that psychology is the most popular social sciences in today because of its most impact and application in the world. So when you will do this course, you will realize that there is hardly ever an area in human life or hardly ever any aspect of human life that psychologists do not study and touch upon or explore. So psychologists are interested in all issues and phenomena that is related to human thinking, human behavior, culture, society, and much more. This is what makes the psychology an interesting science. So psychology is one of the important social science. It's focusing on various aspects of human lives, starting from the personal life to the group lives and communities. So it is understanding of such subjects is quite important for every human beings, because understanding of these subjects will help us to understand the creatures, their relationships, their interactions, and specifically the humans' personalities. So as you all know better that psychology is itself a 4-year bachelor degree, then master, then PhD. So it's a special science. It is a specialized science. So finally the person, we can call it a psychologist. As we study this subject as an optional subject, not as your core subjects in 5th semester, but it's very important for, as I earlier told you, that understanding of the psyche and the psychology of a second person, of an individual in groups and in the society is very much important for us, because the life relationships among the peoples develop based on understanding of the subject of a psychology. So at the very beginning, let me just introduce the course descriptions, since we will not be discussing the things as there is important things in the subject of a psychology. Two main sections, that there are lot of topics which we will discuss in less details, and there is a lot of topics which we will there are less topics which we will discuss in more details. But it is important to study a lot of topics in fewer details, that at least the student should know about the various disciplines of psychologies, the various field of psychologies, the various topics regarding the psychology that could lead their life, that could help them in their futures. So for that reasons, more topic will be discussed with less details. So for that, I'm going to first of all do some course descriptions. Mainly, this course is I have divided in 2 portions. The first portions of this course will cover the basic concept of psychology, and the basic concept of psychology we will discuss, and mainly it will focus on the course. Our course will be on introducing the essential terminology, theory and concepts in modern day psychology. While the second portion of the psychology in this course that we will discuss is focusing mainly on speciality of the area, which is that after the midterm exam we will cover up the 8 lectures. that is industrial or organizational psychology. So industrial organizational psychology is itself as a spatial branch of a psychology that people are going to be specialized in this relevant study. So for understanding of the specialized field of psychology, it is very important to know about first the basic concept of psychology, which is mainly called that is the general psychology. So what the topics we will discuss, we will cover throughout the semester. That is the first meaning and definition of psychology, the branches of psychology. So various branches of psychology we will discuss about, and after that we will discuss scope and application of psychology in world of today. So what are the importance, what are the scope of these subjects, and in today's world where we can benefit these subjects, and where the humans can get the benefit from the studying of this subject in practical life. And the third thing that we will discuss about objective of studying of psychology, and the next chapter that we will discuss about, that is introduction of nervous systems. Of course, let me make it clear that nervous system, as the medical student is studying in details, we will not touch it that much in detail, because it's not that much important as it is important for the medical science students. For being humans, we have to know about what is nervous system, how does it works, what is brain, parts of the brain. So what are the main function of the brain? If one parts of the brains are being damaged or it is affected, so what behaviors changes are coming in humans. So for that reason, a little bit the nervous system will be touched, and we will discuss about the memory, types of memory, how to improve memory, and what are those factors that is leading to loss of memory, and we will discuss about how to manage and how to have an effective memory. And after that we will discuss about the motivations, which is a very important force in every organizations, in every place. Motivation is very important. If that is family, if that is family matters, if that is organizational matters, if that is daily life. So motivations, what is the motivations? So what are the types of motivations, and what is motivation cycle? We will discuss about it. And then we will discuss about emotions, different types of emotion we will discuss. So after that we will discuss about personality. What is personality, types of the personality, personality traits we will discuss about, and how to develop the personality development. Regarding some tips we will discuss about that, how to develop your personalities. The same is what is intelligence, what are the types of intelligence, and how could we be the most intelligent students or the most intelligent persons. So some tips, some strategies, strategies are there that should be covered throughout the semester, and inshallah you will understand better about these topics as well. And after that we will discuss about stress in health. So as you know, our life is full of the stress, and the main thing that is very important for us, that is health. So health is affected by the stress. So what is stress, what are the types of stress, what things are affecting our health, we will discuss about, and how to manage them. And another thing that we will going to discuss, learning, different kinds of learning, factor which is affecting learning process, what are the types of learning techniques. So mainly all these things we will discuss about in the first section, in general psychology. While we are going to go for the second part, which is a special branch of a psychology that people do it, even a PhD in this, and postdoctorate, and the person become a specialized in that field. That is industrial organizational psychology, which is specifically related to faculty of economics. The students mainly focusing on this portion of the study, but for understanding of this, it's very important to know the general psychology. So in these portions we will discuss about what are the scope and objective of industrial organizational psychology, as well as what is work motivations, what is job satisfactions, and what are the health implies health and safety and training and developments. So this will be covered in second part of the psychology portions. Now there are some recommended books that student can study for in depth, for understanding more, for the assessment of their study, and for knowing more. They can buy and they can find the books by the name of Introduction to Psychology, which is written by David G. Myers, and Introduction to Human Behaviors, that is written by one of the Pakistani writer, Professor Fazle Wahid. And there is another subject which is written by the Rupali Kumar and Sunil Kumar, an Indian writer, Industrial Psychology. So these are the recommended books. You can have it from any bookstores or you can download it from the internet. And beside all these things, we will have more sources as well will be utilized for your more understandings. Lecture note will be provided and slides will be provided to students. Since the subject is now the question will arise that why the students of Faculty of Economics study these subjects, because it's always you're not want to become a psychologist. As I earlier told you, if you don't want to become a psychologist, but it is very important in present time for every human being that you know, should know about, must know about the psychology. You have to have some psychological knowledge, how to manage family matters, how to manage business matters, how to manage social matters. So you are facing with the people from different background, from different perspectives, from different religion, from different idea, from different ethnic groups. So various type of people you will be faced with. Now facing with a lot of peoples, since they are not in your same thought and same idea and same from the same ethnic groups and ethnic religions, so how is it possible being with all these peoples and how to manage them, how to work them, how to go ahead with them, and how to get along with them in every aspect of your life? For that reason, being as a human, you should know about the psychology, not being as a psychologist, because being as a psychologist, that is a specialized field of study that person go on through the go years of trainings for their study till postdoc and PhD, and then they become a psychologist in their specific field. For example, a clinical psychologist is the person who is diagnosing and treating as well as giving advice for the prevention of a disease. So that is a clinical psychologist sitting in a clinical setup. So industrial psychologist is working in many industrial field, many industries and company and factories and other manufacturing places where they are employed, and they are working with the employees, how to motivate them, how to satisfy them with their jobs, and how to make them for them a better environment. So industrial psychologists will give these ideas. So for that reason, every person will go on their own field of study, and finally they will help their societies. Now course objectives, we will discuss about that. By the end of this course, what the student will learn and what they would be able to do. So student first of all will understand and use the basic terminology. As you know that every field of science or every field of study have their basic terminology. So one basic terminology of their field of study would not be used in another. For example, the terminology that is used in economics would not be used in psychology, but the terms, the psychological terms, the terminology which is being used, which is being fit in use in psychology, that could not be fit in in some other sciences. For that reason, understanding of basic terminology, the student will understand at the end of this course. Beside this, the student will understand and they will identify the various application of these disciplines. So the various branches of this subject. So there is more than 50 branches of psychology. So the students will, at the end of the course, will understand about the various branches of the psychology, the various disciplines of psychology. And another thing that at the end of the course, the student will be able to know about the practical application of knowledge, the knowledge that they got during the course of study of a psychology. They will better understand how to use this knowledge, how to utilize this knowledge in a practical field, in day-to-day life, in order to finish the problems of humans in the societies, as well as the student at the end of the course will be able to understand how to cope or how to manage with the daily life in work which is related to stress. For example, students are facing with a lot of problems during their academic life, course of study. They are facing with many difficulties, so they are developing some sort of stress. Now, how to cope in how to manage a stressful situation during your course of study, during university life, or you might be working somewhere, you might be having some stress related to your works. How to cope with such kind of situations, by end of this course we will discuss, and student will understand about to better manage their stressful life. Another course objective, that is understand how to be an effective personalities to be a great persons, to be a great academicians. How to be a great persons, how to develop your to be the great personalities, how to be an effective personalities, how to be the great persons, how the people can call you the great, you are a nice person, you are good persons. So student will understand, after understanding of this course, they will understand how to make himself a great person. And beside all these things, by the end of the course, the student will choose their area of their interest for their higher academic qualification in futures. Either if they want to go specifically for the study of industrial psychology or organizational psychology, or maybe they can go to another field, any other field of their lives. And another things that the student will identify situations, that in which situation the psychological intervention can be required. They will understand that which psychological intervention is required in this place, in this situation, that I can get the benefit from this psychological knowledge and can remove my problems. And another thing that we will, of course, the course will be taught bilingually. It means that the course description will be in English, as well as lecture will be in English, as well as in Pashto or Paisans when it is needed, because when it is needed. And another thing that we are going to discuss about, that as you better know, that we always come across with many people in our daily life that they are having some misconceptions and misunderstanding about the subject of a psychology and a psychologist. So before going to the details of psychology in various areas that it covers, let's go through the misconceptions and commonly ill belief about the psychology that the people are having. So for that reason, let me just we will just concisely and briefly explain it in 4 points. First is, many people are saying that the person or anybody who has studied about the psychology can read about people's personalities. It's not the matter that you study 2-3 books, or you study a very little about the psychology and you will be able to know the personality of the peoples. It is not. In order to be a skillful psychologist, in order to be a great psychologist, in order to be a great therapist, in order to be a great counseling or consultant in the field of psychology, you have to go years of trainings. You have to go years of trainings, you have to go years of learnings. Once you go years of learning and years of trainings in specific field of the study of psychology, this can at least help you to read the people's personalities. Otherwise, it is impossible by studying 1 book or 2 books. and you will call the person that this person has studied about little about the psychology, and he knows about the personality of other people, he can read the personality of other people. It's never like that. So to be a skillful psychologist, to be a trained psychologist, to be a great therapist, you have to go long terms learnings and trainings in field of psychology. Then we can say that the person can read the personality of other person, otherwise not. The second point that people are having misconception or misunderstanding regarding the psychology, that is, psychologists can predict the fate or destiny. Is it possible that someone see you and they will talk about your destiny, and they will talk about your fate, that what good things you will face in future, what bad things you will face in futures? Of course it is impossible, but it is because of the person who can say something regarding your personality, or regarding can say something about good about your futures, and can say something bad about that will happen in your future. It is because of the person, the psychologist, has faced with lots of people, with thousands and thousands of people in their life, and he got experience, and he have met many kind of people. They have studied and experienced many kind of situations. Based upon his experience, based upon his knowledge, based upon his interaction with the people, that could help the psychologist to predict about the person fate or destiny, that what will happen to you in future, the good things to happens to you, the bad thing happens to you in the futures. So that is about what then they can predict, and this is because of the knowledge of the persons, because he has gone through many areas of experience. در جامعه تعلیم کی یادآور شویم بسیاری از مردم بعضی سوء تفاهم داره در مورد روانشناس ها یا کسایی که در مورد روانشناسی میفهمه یا در علم روانشناسی میگه کسایی که روانشناسی میخوانه یا روانشناس است جادوگر است، یا مثلا در مورد شخصیت انسان گپ میزنه میفهمه. این هرگز اسم نیستن. ولی اگر آنها در مورد آینده شما گپ میزنه که چیزی خوب برای شما در آینده شما امرایشان روبرو میشین یا چیزی بد شما امرایشان روبرو میشین، او با اساس همون تجربه‌ای که در امی طول زمانی درسی که خوانده یا امرای مردمی که روبرو شده، همون فردی که مثلا هر روز امرایش روبرو شده، همون تجربه‌ای که گرفته، با اساس اون تجربه او را کمپیر مقایسه میکنه، امرای ایژوکیشن خودتان، او را امرای همون چیز شما را مقایسه میکنه که بالاخره میفهمه که شما در آینده امرای چی حالت روبرو میشین یا چیز نه. نو په دغه اساس باندې موږ ویلی شو چې کوم یو چاته وایي چې تاسو پاینده کې دغه شي سره مخ کېږي، دغه سي بد حالت برازي، دغه سي ښه حالت برازي، نو دا په دې معنا نه دی چې موږ مثلا کوم جادو لرو، کوم موږ مثلا داسې علم غیب لرو. دا په دې اساس باندې چې موږ د خپل تجربې او اساس باندې چې موږ په ټولنه کې ژوند کوو، د ډېرو انسانانو سره موږ ارسه درس لرو، او هغوی سره موږ مثلا ژوند تیر کړی دی، نو د دې په اساس باندې هغه د ستا د دغه ژوند او ستا د تجربې او ستا د علمیات او ستا د اکاډمیک بیکګراوند سره موږ څه کوو، مقایسه کوو. بالاخره موږ په هغه اساس باندې وایو چې تاسو به د کوم مشکل سره مخ کېږئ یا کوم بد حالت به راځي، کوم بل حالت. The same is another thing that people are having misconception and misunderstanding regarding the psychology. That is, people say the psychologists are doctors. Look at here to make it clear. Who is psychologist? Who is a doctor? So mainly doctors are those people who are healings, who are treating, and who are performing some surgical procedures for the peoples. While psychologists are those people that they are going to go for psychological therapy. They are going to treat to psychotherapy. Psychologists are never going for any surgical procedures. So psychologists is going for years of trainings and years of learnings in the universities, and finally they become a psychologist. While doctors are going for medical schools, and finally they become a doctors. So psychologists are not doctors. Another thing that is we are going to discuss about, psychologists give medicines. No, psychologists are not prescribing the medicine, because medicine are prescribed by the psychiatrist, and psychiatrist is a person who studied the medical schools, and he is specialized in the field of psychiatry, and he knows about mental disorders, and he can treat the mental illness of a person through medicine, while psychologists might be specialized in psychotherapy, in counseling, in some other field of their study which is not prescribing any medicine but doing a psychotherapy. So these are some misconceptions. So one thing more, let me remind you that mostly the people are saying that the person who is studying psychology, or the person who is a psychologist, they are mad, they are crazy. معمولا مردمی ما شما میگم کسی که روانشناسی میخونه یا کسی که روانشناس هستن میگه و خود دیوانه میباشه، اصلا اعصاب از دست داشته میباشه. هرگز قسم نیست، دا قسم نده. ځکه هر څومره چې یو سړی حقیقت خبره خو دا ده چې یو سړی په سایکالوژي یا په ارواپوهنه کې هغه چې څومره علم لاسته راوړي، هغه معنا دا دی چې دی ډیر د نورو نه ډیر پوهیږي چې څنګه بیهیویر وکړي، ټولنه کې څنګه ژوند وکړي، څنګه روابط وساتي. He knows better about himself, he knows better about others. The fact is that he is developing his own self. He is not going to become crazy. No worry. You will not see, and no one will tell me about any person around the world that those people who have studied psychology and they become mad or they become crazy. There is no proof in the world. So there are some misconceptions regarding of the psychology. So now another thing that we are going to discuss about the meaning of psychology. So the word psychology comes from the Latin words. Two is taken from two Latin words. We can say psyche and logia, or we can say psyche and logos. Psyche means mind, and logos or logia means study. So it means that it is the study of a mind. Primarily, psychology study who and what we are, why we act and think in a particular manner, and what is our potential as individuals. So who we are, what we are, how do we act, what do we think in a particular manners that makes the individual behavior to go ahead with the particular behaviors. So that is the meaning of a psychology. Now we are going to define the psychology, that what is the definition of psychology. Psychology is the scientific study of human behavior and mental process, human and animals. Now, let me make it clear that there are three things to be remembered in the definitions of a psychology. As I mentioned here, that psychology is the study of human behaviors, mental process, and human and animals. Now, the first things to be remembered in this definition, that is behaviors. So the third is mental process. The second is mental process, and the third is humans or animals. Let me discuss about what is behavior. Now, what do you mean by behaviors? Behavior is the apparent actions, that the things that the person does, or the manifest respective person personalities. Or we can say behavior refers to anything we do, think and feels. So, or simply I can tell you the observable actions. The observable actions, that is called what? That is called behaviors. So now we're going to talk about a bit more about what is types of behaviors. Mainly we're discussing about that there are two types of behavior. First is called covert behaviors. We can say this is a patterns of behavior which is not seen by other people, or which is not visible to other people that is around us. It means people cannot see us. what behavior do I have? So we can also call it these they are unseen behavior. For example, feelings such as anger, jealousy, kindness, pity, happiness, and sad. Now, this is what covert behavior. What is overt behavior? Are those patterns of behavior that can be observed by others, or those behavior which is visible to other, or in the other word we can say that it is a seen behaviors. Example, the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we dress and eat, and so on. In short, these are all the action we see, observe in individual and around us in a group. So we call it, this is what a behaviors. Now, this is what you know about the types of behaviors. Now let me say something about more that something more about behaviors, that all observable actions are called behaviors. It means the action which can be observed by other people simply. Now the second thing that is very important, as we mentioned in the definition, that psychology is the study of mental process. So what is mental process? Is the process that takes places inside the person. For example, mood, temperament, intelligence, motivations, personality characteristics, emotion. Like, why do we become angry? Why do we become happy? All these things are studied in mental process. So this is a cognitive process. So our motivation, emotions, memory, thinking, learning, which all internally take place in our brain. So such processes being scientifically studied by the subject of a psychology. So that is why it is called, it's a mental process, study of a mental process. So internal structure of the human brains, internal function of the human brains in human nervous system is studied by the psychology. So that is why we say it's a mental process. Now, what is intelligence? What is memory? What is motivation? What is intelligence? What is mood? So for understanding of all these things, you have to get deep study, and you have to go deeply go on through the mental process of a person. Then we can say that this is psychology. And another thing which is important in this definition, the third point, that is psychology, the study of what? Human behaviors, mental process, animals as well in humans. This is the most important things, that psychological experimental studies are conducted on animals, not on humans, because some experiment may lead to consequences which is harmful to human beings, and animals are very close to human beings in terms of their behaviors and emotion and actions. So for that reasons, some of the psychological experimentation would take place on animals, because you can remove the brain of animal for study, for investigations. You can remove the brain of the animals. But if you remove the same brain of a person's, of a human's, if you remove them, so the person is facing with a health problems, it may lead to a very bad consequences. For that reasons, since animals are very close to the human beings in terms of behaviors, in terms of actions and emotion, for that reasons we say that psychology not only study human behavior, but it also study animal behavior as well. Another definitions which is defined by the American Psychological Associations, or APA, they define that psychology as it is the scientific study of behavior and experience in the application of that knowledge to human problems. Mainly what psychological knowledge we are taking, what experimentation we are doing, and what theory and concept we are taking, what knowledge we are taking from different books, from the trainings and from the from the trainings in practical field of lives. So that knowledge that we are taking, all these things we are doing for the sake of to solve the human problem, because humans are facing with diversity of problems in human life. Either that is individual, personal problems, that is family matters, that is social matters, that is economic problems, that is educational problems, that is marriage, and some other issue that the people are facing in their life. So now burdens and thousands of problems are there that people are facing with. Now there should be a solutions, there should be a science, there should be a knowledge that could put end to all these human problems, putting the end solution to the problems of humans. We need to know regarding the subject of a psychology, which is having more than 50 fields of study. I mean, all these 50 field of studies are being taught in specialized field of studies. So either the people will do PhD and go to postdoctorate in educational psychology, so that person might be very able to how to solve the problem that the students are having their academic life, or how to make a better curriculum that people and students better understand. So the better the educational psychologists will give this strategy and policy and provide them some sort of solution to end the educational problem. For example, counseling psychologists will give you more information about how to make a good relation inside the families. Social psychologists, forensic psychologists, which we called before, that is criminal psychologists as well. Developmental psychology, child psychology, which is mainly focusing about the child, problem of a child. So as I earlier mentioned, that there is more than 50 field of study of a psychology. If you study about this and become a specialized, every psychologist will work on their own area of their study, and finally they will just solve the problem that the people are specifically facing with them. So clinical psychologists are sitting in clinical setups, they are working in hospital with patients and just going to just rehabilitate them back and come them back to the normal conditions. So another thing that we are going to discuss, that is psychology, another definition. So mainly it is defined by different social scientists and different psychologists. That psychologist is the scientific study of human behaviors and mental process, and how they are affected by an organism, physical state, mental state, and external environment. Now psychologists study this, that how the human behaviors and mental process are affected by physical state, how the human behavior is affected by the mental state, and how the external environment affects the human behaviors. Now, how these 4 to 5 factors are affecting the behavior of peoples, we are going to study about in the subject of psychology, that how the external environment is changing my behavior and mental process, how the physical state and mental state in any other organism can't change my behaviors or affect my behaviors. Psychology study about that. So mainly, very shortly, if you say that psychology is the study of mind and behaviors, and getting of knowledge, psychological knowledge, and using that psychological knowledge and application of that psychological knowledge for the solution of human problems is called psychology. That is called what? Psychology. So so far today we discuss about the meanings and definitions, about the course description and course objective of the study. For today we discuss about this, and we will go through the other topics inshallah in my coming lectures. Till then, Allah Hafiz, see you soon, wish you all the best. Thank you.